welcome to the Youth Business Lounge, where we discuss youth and business. Apparently, climate change has manifested worldwide. In Uganda, our population makes 80% of the youth. What do you think of the youth participating in climate-smart enterprises? And when I say climate-smart enterprises, I mean businesses that have to mitigate climate change or work through climate change. Welcome to the show. Let's talk.
As you're joining us today as we explore the dynamic changes in the landscape of the green economy, like my colleague said, today we are discussing the climate-smart enterprises through which we the young people can embrace sustainable business practices which can help us mitigate negative impacts from climate change as well. This can be among the various sectors in the economy, be it agriculture, transportation and energy, among others, as we shall be breaking them down today. Thank you for joining us.
Good green afternoon. One of the greetings I have learned from attending, some of the climate smart enterprises and summits. But I have learned quite a lot when it comes to the climate smart sector. There is a lot that we can benefit from. There is quite a number of opportunities we should position ourselves to tap into. We are delighted to have Mr. Edwin Muhumza, the Executive Director of Uganda Youth Go Green. And of course, we know that with his expertise, we have quite a lot to talk about, and of course, invaluable expertise that he's going to share with us. Quite a lot of information that we are going to expound on. Please be alert and stay smart. You're welcome, Mr. Edwin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a part of this.
I'm delighted to be here as well.
To have you.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I've been well.
Good.
I'm happy to be on Smart 24 TV. So it's my first time. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And the topic is really awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Muhumza, tell us, what are climate smart enterprises?
First of all, I'm happy that we're discussing this topic. Climate smart enterprises, these are jobs or businesses that young people can do which are environmental friendly, but at the same time that can make really some income for them. Thank you.
That's good. When you look at Uganda, especially the youth, do you think they're interested in these, in the environment and climate issues? Do you think they can really participate, or are they already participating in climate smart enterprises?
Well, I mean, their interest is still low because they are still struggling to understand where is the benefit. So it's our role as the champions of climate change or environmentalists to make sure that we advocate, we sensitize them about the benefits that they can get, because it's a lot that they can really earn from climate smart enterprises. It's a lot. But when you look at their interest is still low. We have a few who have really picked up. They are innovators. They have really started doing quite a number of initiatives that are really supporting them through generating income. But at the same time, for us, we look at the opportunities that come with reducing, for instance, the emissions from the atmosphere. So it's us again to really encourage them, inspire them, train them, build their capacity, and give them direction on where to go and how to do it. But it's great that they must pick this interest, because it's a lot that they can earn from, but also at the same time benefiting our environment. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Youth Go Green organization that you do lead as a vision bearer.
Yeah.
What are those activities that you are engaged in that you think the young people should be a part of, that would be actually doors that would be open for them and actually gain quite a number of opportunities?
Yeah.
What are those activities?
Okay, first of all, Youth Go Green was established in around 2014 and by passionate young environmentalists. That was after our university, and we were still looking at what can we do to contribute to the reforestation. The country had started experiencing climate impacts. We saw people die because of mudslides. We saw people taken away by floods. I was moved by a story on one of the national televisions in Bududa, where I saw these excavators, picking up dead bodies which people who had been buried by mud. And I was really, really touched. I saw children die. I saw little bodies of these young children. I saw women, and because these are the groups which are hugely affected by the floods, because they can't run away, they are vulnerable. So when I saw that story, first of all, I even never studied. My first degree is not even on environment. But when I saw that story, I was a little bit perturbed. And I said, what can be done? I had to look out for people who are already familiar with the subject itself. And they said, this is climate change. I said, what is climate change? A guy was like, no, you just go and Google. You will tell us. You go and you will see what it means. And again, I Googled. But when I discovered what it is, I never looked back. I said, no, we need to do something. We cannot see our generation, die. People, go sleep hungry and all that because of the droughts and all that. But we need to do something. And as young people, just like she has said, over 78% of this population is young. So I said, what about if we are organized and we come together and do something for our country? So that is when we developed the concept of the Youth Go Green. So Youth Go Green is an umbrella organization. It's a platform of young people who have picked interest in climate change and environment-related issues. So in 2014, we worked so hard. I put together a concept note. I mobilized my colleagues. I said, you know what, you guys, at least let's plant trees. Maybe this could be one of the mitigating, actions that can address the impacts of climate change. And so we gave ourselves a target of planting 1 million trees. And of course, we said, how about if we'd say 1 million youth, 1 million trees? In Uganda, we are quite many. How about if we mobilize ourselves and say, you know what, let's mobilize youth at least to plant a tree, each of them. And we did this. We decided to, work closely with the universities. In Kampala here, we created chapters at the university, Makerere University, Kyambogo, KIU, we and others. We decided maybe let's have clubs or chapters in the universities where we will be looking at young people to come and plant trees. So again, that year, we were happy to have all these large numbers. We mobilized ourselves, and we are lucky that the president launched this organization in the same year. We moved on. We decided to look at about 5 thematic areas where we could engage young people. And one of them we said, because now I started doing a lot of desk research. I started looking at how do I get opportunity to understand deeply the issues related to climate change. I started going for trainings, started looking out for online courses. I picked this interest, and I was really happy that indeed it worked for me. Nothing beats something you do with passion. They shouldn't lie to you. Even if you studied medicine, but your interest is in maybe engineering, I can tell you end up in a garage.
Your heart ends up
Your
there.
heart will end up there.
Yeah, sure.
So I ended up in environmental activities, and we said, okay, so I started learning so many things. There's what we call climate adaptation and mitigation. I said, guys, can we do some things around that? So Youth Go Green looked at 5 areas. 1, climate change adaptation and mitigation, biodiversity and disaster risk reduction, waste management and innovations, youth skilling and empowerment. Then we looked at also the green growth and energy transition. Those are some of our thematic areas that we are doing some of the activities. And among the activities that we are doing, we train young people, we build capacity, we sensitize them about all these aspects that I've mentioned. And Youth Go Green is now the leading youth organization that is advancing climate action among the young people. We have...
Is there an impact you could also tell us on the trainings you have done?
Of course. Under the trainings, we have been training young people in waste management. We call it innovative waste management systems. And we've been able to train over 500 young people ever since we started. And we have a project which has been supported by GIZ to train young people in recycling. And we are focusing on 2 aspects. Recycling waste to make charcoal briquettes. Because charcoal briquettes, this is clean energy. This is safe energy that you can cook. You can use to cook your meals. It doesn't have any impact on the environment. The only positive impact that it has, it makes the country and the people using charcoal briquettes to reduce on the rate of deforestation. And so we train young people in how to, make briquettes out of this agricultural waste. So we have a training center in Sonde, Namugongo, and we have been training these young people. The other aspect is we've been training youth to make roofing tiles from plastic.
Nice.
So we have a partner company in Namamve, and Ecoplastic has been doing that. We have been working closely with a team to ensure that we teach young people on how to recycle waste, to make briquettes, but also to make roofing tiles and other products that we have done. The other one, in terms of policy influence, because you see, there's nothing you do without engaging government. Because, these are the guys who draft the policies, the regulators, and make sure that even these policies are implemented. But how do you make sure that these policies are inclusive? We decided that every year, Youth Go Green would convene a national conference of youth on climate change and policies. Why we do that is simply because we want to unpack some of the existing policies, like for instance the climate change strategy, the NEMA Act, the National Tree Planting Act. We now have the Climate Change Act. So we are looking at where is the role of young people in this process, and how can they influence some of the policies which do not mention youth and their role. So every year we do that.
So when is this conference?
It's coming up next month. We will be doing this in September. We're working with a number of activities. This is going to be our 6th conference of youth, where we'll bring together all these young people to understand some of these frameworks. Then also, the other aspect that we do is, we reviewed the policies. We contributed significantly to the climate change bill. I was really happy to see that some of our recommendations were tabled before Parliament, on the floor of Parliament, when they were trying to, implement, come up with the bill itself.
Yeah.
And I was happy that the chairperson of the Climate Change Committee, Honorable Songa, was able to highlight the contributions of the young people to the bill. And this would really help us, because among these policy texts, we were like, if you have, for instance, in districts, the local districts, how can we have district-led climate action plans? And that whenever you have interventions within your operations or work plans, why can't we have young people contributing some of these things? And one of the key things that we really highlighted was that whenever they have committees, because they have climate change committees from the national to the district level, and we're like, okay, can't we have young people be part of such a committee so that they give their views, they give their, their understanding of the climate change issues and so on. So we did that, and it's happening, and we've done a lot of work with Parliament and other government institutions like Ministry of Water and Environment, where we engage young people in different activities. For instance, every year we have the National Youth Debate, and this is inter-university in primary and secondary schools, where we try to give the students the understanding of the climate and natural resources, information. And every year we have these debates. Universities compete, and we are happy that there is a great impact. Young people are picking up interest in issues of climate change. It's all about climate, natural resources, climate smart agricultural practices, and the role of young people in energy transition. All these aspects are being discussed with the young people.
Mr. Mhums, they're running away from the environment now, because for someone out there watching, you've spoken the environment, but now they are seated here and they want to earn money out of this problem, climate change.
Nice.
May you please help us dissect what opportunities are within this climate change, the climate change mitigation and adaptation measures, and how can someone
earn a living from it?
Yes, so you could tell us a lot, like agriculture, forestry, and etc.
Okay. First of all, for instance, under climate adaptation, there are opportunities for young people.
But before that, what is climate change adaptation for someone watching?
Wow, okay. For someone watching, climate change adaptation means there are some actions or initiatives that because now we are already living in the climate change crisis. Climate change is here with us. It's happening. We see it. We see floods, we see bushfires, we see landslides, we see all those things. Adaptation means how can you live within the impacts of the climate change? That if floods are already coming, how can we adapt? How can we live with the floods? What strategies, mechanisms can you use to ensure that, for instance, if floods come, like now, and you know the flood has come, probably it has washed away the bridge. I'm giving an example. A bridge which was helping us to cross, probably you are doing marketing, you're taking your product to another level, or you're going to school, but a bridge has been cut off, a road has been cut off. So adaptation means that there must be systems put in place. For instance, reconstruct the bridge, make it stronger, so that next year, when a flood comes, it won't take it away.
Use of air transport.
Exactly, use of air transport. So, yes, so that means you adapt. You are willing to live within the impacts of climate change. For instance, if there is prolonged drought, you can't plant trees, you can't grow food, you can't do anything. How can you survive?
Irrigation.
Perfect. Irrigation is an example of climate adaptation. You put up irrigation systems that you can be able to water your crops. They get, they grow, and then you harvest food as you have always been. Now, mitigation is that you're trying to reduce the impact of climate change. How do you reduce the impact? For instance, reforestation. These trees you see surrounding us, they have a very big role they play in mitigation, because they reduce the bad gases from the atmosphere. Okay? You reduce the emissions. Okay? So mitigation means that you reduce the impact, or you control and stop it forever if we can. Yes. And those are some of these are terminologies in climate change science that we are trying to. Well, first of all, there are no courses at the University of Climate Change. They are there?
Yes, I'm pursuing bachelor's in environmental science, technology and management.
And you have these climate change aspects?
Yes.
So have you covered anything to do with climate adaptation?
Yes.
Why were you asking and you saying?
Because the people need to know. Me, I know, but the people need to know.
Okay. No, it's good. I'm happy that some of these are coming up. And coming to the question, how can the young people benefit from these climate change resilient programs, interventions, adaptation, all these things? One, when you look at the renewable energy practices or solutions, youth, first of all, can engage in solar installation. Okay? Now, when you're trained on how to install a solar panel, okay? If you have your house and you really want to buy a solar, because we still have a challenge of energy access, electricity access to the population. Like about, I think, 8% of all Ugandans access, power, but the rest not. Now, when you have your house, you want to light it up, possibly you want to use your solar for something else. You go to a market, you go to a shop and buy a panel. You have no knowledge, you can't install it yourself, but here is this young technician who has been probably trained. That's what we are trying to emphasize. This person will definitely charge you money to install your solar. That's income for him. That's money for him. Two, the maintenance. Because they run on batteries. Some of these batteries get weak. They get probably, issues. But you'll call Edwin, who has been trained how to maintain this. The person will come and has knowledge of it. That is how you can get. The other aspect is on agroforestry and sustainable agriculture. Young people would practice organic farming. They can grow crops.
What is organic farming?
Organic farming is where
I think before Mr. Humza goes into organic farming, I'm really glad you guys, the hospitality industry is also embracing going green and the environment. As you can tell, our beautiful home today, Farewell Hotel, is full of green everywhere, almost everywhere. Well, let's go in for a very short break and I'll come back with a burning questions from Mr. Humza.
Smart 24